Hello and welcome to today's show. My name is Yanni and it's great to have you with me again. And today I'm going to get a little bit off track, if I can call it that. Because as you know, I am using everything in my life, my business, my ministry, everything that I do, I apply biblical principles because that's who I am and it works. It works awesome for me. And I know if there's something that is going wrong, that is not working, it's not on the outside, it's on the inside. But the thing is, the biblical principles, God's principles work. Why don't they work? Usually why they don't work in people's lives is because they are not honest, both with themselves and with the one who made us, who made our creator, the one who formed us in his image and in his likeness. And I'm going to be very blunt. I think you are stupid. Any person is stupid who is not using biblical principles in their lives and in their business, wherever you are in the marketplace and wherever you are. Why would I say that? Now just think about this. If you have a car, let's say it's a General Motors car. Now let's go to the Asian side. Let's say you have an Asian car, and you want to work on that car by using an American car manufacturer's manual to fix that car. I don't think that car is going to run for too long. You know that, and I know that. So we cannot apply something that is outside of the manufacturer's specification. Now, whether you want to acknowledge it or whether you don't, you and I have been made by God. We have been created by God. He created everything. He created the heavens, the earth, everything that's on the earth, underneath the earth, above the earth, everything He created. And now you and I want to go and tell Him that He doesn't know how we operate and how the things around us operate. I think that is stupid. Don't you agree? I'm sure you will agree with me because the example that I just used here, it's stupid to go and use a manual of another manufacturer to try to fix and to maintain your own product that's totally from a different manufacturer. I think that's very simple. I think it's very basic. So if we just look at these things, then it's very easy for us to see why we should apply the biblical principles from the one who created everything, who made you and I in His image. Now, why are there so many people that don't believe they should do that? Because, and this is my view on this, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, and if you want to convince me contrary to this, I'm not necessarily going to agree with you because I don't want to both of us to be wrong. So let us just look at this a little bit. People have the perceptions that they are using principles and it works for them. But they never sit back and think, but where do these principles actually come from? Let's just take the law of gravitation. I know it's not totally applicable in the scenario maybe that we're discussing here today. However, that's just one law that was put in place at the time of creation. And that says if you throw up a rock into the air, there's a certain speed that it comes down with because there's a gravitational force that pulls it back onto the surface of the earth. Now, if we go beyond or outside of this gravitational force, if we go too far outside of the sphere around the earth, then that's not applicable anymore. But you and I who are living on this earth and are walking around here, that law is working whether you're in North America, whether you're in South America, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, Asia, doesn't matter where you are, that law will work. It will always work. And that is exactly the same even with biblical uh, business principles, and they will work. So whether you acknowledge God or whether you don't acknowledge God, it's going to work for you. However, there's certain things that you and I, if we are not informed that these things are going to harm us, and if we don't avoid those things, then it's going to bite us. It's absolutely going to bite us. So you can have all the money in the world, so your business can run very smoothly, but you may worry all the time. You may not be happy in your relationships. You may not have peace. You're always going to look who's going to steal my company from me, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. But if you apply God's principles and stand back and learn all these laws and all these principles and let Him guide you in and through everything, that is when you really become exceptionally successful. Because now it becomes a whole. Now it's not you or I who start, we just running after money, we're just running after power, we just want to control everything. It just doesn't work that way. It's as if it's lopsided. And if that scale is not in balance, if the one side is heavier than the other side, that's why things doesn't work. And that's why so many people in the world think they can do the things their own way. But deep in the inside, deep in their hearts and in their minds, they know that they are not happy because there's something lacking. Now, I'm going to share a little story with you. It's most probably not a real life story, but it actually paints a very nice picture. But I'm going to give that to you just in a little while. Now, you may say, yes, Yanni, but I've seen so many people, they claim they're Christians and they don't have anything. Yes, I understand that. And you know why that is? Just like people, let's call them people in the world, in the marketplace, in the world system, they may have one view and it's only to make money. It doesn't matter what, and that doesn't matter how they get it. That's what they're running after. But there's a religious thing, and just at this point, I hate religion because religion binds people. It kills people, basically. That's the word religion comes from, I think it's the Latin word religare, which actually means to bind someone. And that's why religion is something totally different from the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's really what biblical principles are all about. It's to know this person, this God, but He's a person as well, who made everything, who made you, who made me. When you and I get to know Him, then we can take His laws and His principles, and as He guides us through His manual, which is the Bible, and then we apply these things to our lives, to our business, and then it becomes a whole. And it's not lopsided, it doesn't hurt you, it actually helps you, and it helps you to become even more successful. It becomes you to, or helps you to have peace and to look after other people without thinking, but they're just going to come and suck from me. Then that attitude is totally wrong. That's when we can have compassion on people. And that is how we can help other people. Because you and I, that's how we are made. Let me use this example. If you go and stand on a very busy intersection in a big city, and you just go and stand there and you just observe, what are you going to see? You're going to see thousands of people walking on the crosswalks. They're going to cross the street. They're going to walk there. Everyone is, or most of them, they will be very focused in where they're going, and they will, sometimes the people walk fast, and then you get the other ones, they stroll around and all that. But you know what? You and I have been made to be basically reliant on each other. That's why the example is used of a body. Your little finger has a totally different function from your little toe. But both of them are actually needed in your body. If you go and chop off your little finger, you can still function, but there's always going to be something missing there. And that's what we miss out. If you don't do what you've been born for, and if I don't do what I've been born for and bring it to the world, then the world is really lacking something. And sometimes it can be something very, very important. Actually, everything is very important when you look at it in that respect. And that's why it is like that. And many times, and I'm going to be very frank with you, but it's not on the religious side only. And you know, there are people, they just want to run away. They don't want to face any opposition when something bad comes up, especially in the circumstances where we are now, you know, where everything in the world is upside down. People just want to fly away. The Christians want to fly away. They just want to get out of here. But they don't want to take responsibility, and they don't want to do what they've been called for to do. And on the other hand, the other guy said, no, it's okay. You guys can fly away. We just want to accumulate. We just want to gather and gather and gather. And both are actually wrong because there's no balance. Why? Because we do not follow the manual. We don't follow the principles and the laws that were set there for us in the manual. That's why I believe I have to share this with you today. And if you are honest with yourself and with God, the one who made you, if you really want to be honest, then you will realize that I am speaking the truth, because I'm speaking things that you might have not noticed before, or you had a different perception on this. And you can go and check it out. If you can come and you can prove me wrong, it's fine. But I know you cannot, because what I'm sharing with you is based on truth. Not just my truth, just not any truth, but the truth of a person called Jesus Christ. He is the center point, and there's like a golden thread right from the beginning of the Bible all the way through of one person, and his name is Jesus Christ. So when you go and dig in there, you'll find him there. And if you don't find him there, then you've got a problem, because he's there. So it's not just a book, it's not just that manual, but it's actually a person. And there's so many examples in the world. You know, if I go back to the Bible specifically, let's just take Joseph as an example. Joseph was this young boy, and his father loved him. He was at one stage he was his youngest son, and then got another brother, and then their mother passed away. But their father really loved this young boy, and he made him this beautiful multicolored coat. But because his father loved him more than the other sons, they hated him. His brothers hated him. And eventually they sold him, and they took him as a slave to Egypt. And in Egypt, he was standing on his principles. He stayed focused on the laws and the principles of his manual, of the Creator's manual. And he didn't budge when his employer at the time, the person, actually his owner, the person who bought him as a slave, when this person's wife tried to get into an adulterous affair with Joseph, he said, nope, I will not do that. And eventually she caused it that he was thrown in jail. And eventually the king of Egypt, the Pharaoh, he had a dream. And nobody could interpret this dream. Then someone remembered, while they were in jail, Joseph interpreted a dream for them. And they told the Pharaoh, and they said, there's a young man in jail who can interpret your dream for you. And he called on Joseph, and Joseph came. And Joseph went to God, and God opened up to him what this dream meant. And you know what happened? This king of Egypt, this Pharaoh, said, listen, this young man knows what he's talking about. There's truth in him. And he appointed Joseph as the second in charge in his kingdom to basically run his kingdom for him, to distribute money and food and everything between his own people. That's just one example. I can give you so many examples, but we'll be here for the next week, maybe even longer, and I won't even scratch the surface. But that's one example. And it's like an iceberg. We just sometimes see the tip of this iceberg. But what's below the surface, that's what you and I have to go and dig and to uncover. It's not hidden from us, but it's hidden for us. So when you and I go deep down and we discover these hidden things for us, that in itself is so exciting. But I'm going to tell you a story here of this company. I said I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm going to call it the Perfect Cat Food Company. Now, this company, their sales just plummeted, nothing happened, and they couldn't understand what was going on. So they called an emergency board meeting, and there they were all sitting around the table. And they checked out the labels, the colors of the labels. They checked out where in the stores, in the supermarkets, the cat food was placed, and the writing and the slogans and the titles and all these things they investigated. But they missed the most important thing. And there was one lady sitting also in a chair next to or around the boardroom. But nobody asked her anything, and she sort of, her head was a little bit drooped. She didn't really want them to ask her what she thinks is the problem. And eventually, someone asked her, and they said to her, now what do you say? Why doesn't our cat food sell? What do you think is the problem? And she was a little bit timid, and she said, you know what? The cats don't eat our cat food. That's why the people don't buy our cat food. Nobody thought of the most obvious thing. Does the cats like it? And if the cats don't like it, the owners are not going to buy it. And that's sometimes how we are. We look at all the bling and all the stuff, why things don't work out. Or maybe it seems as if it's working out, but as part of the below the surface area of the iceberg, we don't go and investigate. It happened in my life for many years. I didn't want to acknowledge that certain of the things that I did didn't work, but I never really went and I dug deep down to find out why and how, because I was not honest with myself. And that's what I challenge you with today. Be honest with yourself. And these things, go and think about it. What is your perception of biblical principles? Because even if your business, you make tons of money and it seems as if everything is running okay, are you really happy? Are you really at peace inside? Are you worried about things? Are your relationships sorted? What's going on in your life? That's what I'm more concerned about than anything else. Yes, I want you to make a lot of money. That's why I'm sharing some of these things with you. But what's more important to me is that you have the peace and the joy that comes with everything that you have. And that can only come if you apply the principles of the one who created you. So that's what I have for you today. And I really want you to just go and sit back. Even right now, just turn off everything, go and sit. If you have a spot in your office, just go and sit and just reflect on what I shared with you today. Are you happy? Are you following the principles of the one who made you? Are you pursuing the purpose that you've been created for? It's very important. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate you. Have an awesome day.